Once upon a time, in a kingdom surrounded by vast forests and sparkling rivers, there lived a kind and wise king named Aldric. King Aldric ruled over the land of Eldoria with fairness and love. His people adored him, and the kingdom thrived under his reign. But there was one sorrow in the king's heart: his only daughter, Princess Alara, had disappeared many years ago when she was just a child. The princess had gone missing while playing near the edge of the enchanted forest, a mysterious and magical place that bordered the kingdom. Despite years of searching, no one had been able to find her, and the king's heart was heavy with grief. As the years passed, the story of the lost princess became a legend, and many believed she had been taken by the forest's magic, never to return. The brave hunter. In a small village on the outskirts of the kingdom, there lived a young hunter named Rowan. He was known for his bravery and skill in tracking even the most elusive of animals. Rowan had grown up hearing the tales of the lost princess and the enchanted forest, and he often wondered what had truly happened to her. One day, while hunting in the woods, Rowan came across an old woman sitting by a stream. She was dressed in tattered clothes, and her eyes sparkled with wisdom beyond her years. Rowan, always kind-hearted, offered her some of his food and sat down to talk. "Young hunter," the old woman said with a smile, "I see you have a good heart. Tell me, what brings you to these woods so often?" Rowan hesitated for a moment before answering, "I've always been curious about the enchanted forest and the fate of the lost princess. I wish I could find her and bring her back to the king." The old woman nodded thoughtfully. "The enchanted forest is a place of great magic, but it is also full of dangers. Many have entered its depths, never to return. But if your heart is true and your intentions pure, you may be the one to find the lost princess." With that, she handed Rowan a small, glowing crystal. "This will guide you through the forest and protect you from its darker magic. But remember, only those who are selfless and brave can pass the trials of the enchanted forest." Rowan thanked the old woman, who disappeared as mysteriously as she had appeared, leaving him alone by the stream. Determined to find the princess, Rowan set off towards the enchanted forest, clutching the glowing crystal in his hand. The enchanted forest. As Rowan entered the forest, he felt a strange energy surrounding him. The trees seemed to whisper secrets, and the air was thick with magic. The glowing crystal in his hand pulsed gently, guiding him deeper into the woods. After walking for what seemed like hours, Rowan came to a large clearing where a beautiful, shimmering lake lay. The water was so clear that he could see the stones at the bottom, and a gentle mist hovered above the surface. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the mist, a woman with long, flowing hair and a gown made of water. She was the Lady of the Lake, the guardian of the enchanted forest. "Why do you enter the heart of the enchanted forest?" "Young hunter," she asked, her voice like the tinkling of bells. "I seek the lost princess," Rowan replied, bowing respectfully. "I wish to bring her back to her father, the king, and end his sorrow." The Lady of the Lake studied him for a moment before nodding. "Your intentions are noble, but the path ahead is perilous. To find the princess, you must first pass 3 trials. Only then will you be worthy to face the truth of the forest." Rowan agreed, and the Lady of the Lake vanished, leaving him alone once more. The crystal in his hand began to glow brighter, leading him towards the first trial. The trial of courage. The crystal guided Rowan to a dark, winding path surrounded by towering trees. The deeper he ventured, the darker it became until he could barely see his own hands. Suddenly, he heard growls and snarls coming from the shadows. Rowan realized he was being surrounded by wolves with glowing red eyes. They were not ordinary wolves but creatures born of the forest's dark magic. They circled him, their fangs bared, ready to attack. But Rowan did not falter. He knew that showing fear would only make them stronger. Instead, he held up the glowing crystal, which flared with a brilliant light, driving the wolves back. With courage in his heart, Rowan spoke calmly to the creatures, "I mean you no harm. I seek only to find the lost princess and help the king." The wolves hesitated, then slowly retreated into the darkness, leaving Rowan unharmed. He had passed the trial of courage. The trial of wisdom. Next, the crystal led Rowan to a crossroads in the forest. 4 paths stretched out before him, each looking exactly the same. A signpost stood in the middle, but the words were scrambled and impossible to read. Rowan knew this was the trial of wisdom. He sat down and thought carefully about his journey so far. He remembered the old woman's words, the Lady of the Lake's warning, and the crystal's guidance. Then, he noticed something: each path had a different kind of tree at its entrance. One path had a rowan tree, another an oak, the third a willow, and the last a pine. Rowan remembered his own name, which meant Little Red Tree, and decided to trust his instincts. He chose the path marked by the rowan tree, and as he stepped onto it, the crystal glowed brightly, confirming his choice. The path began to change, becoming brighter and easier to walk. Rowan had passed the trial of wisdom. The trial of kindness. Finally, the crystal guided Rowan to a small, abandoned cottage deep in the forest. As he approached, he heard soft crying coming from inside. Cautiously, Rowan opened the door and found a young girl sitting by the fireplace, tears streaming down her face. She was dressed in ragged clothes, and her eyes were filled with sorrow. "Why are you crying?" Rowan asked gently. The girl looked up at him, her voice trembling. "I am lost and alone. No one will help me, and I am so hungry." Rowan's heart went out to her. He gave her the last of his food and sat with her until she stopped crying. He told her stories of his village and his quest to find the lost princess, hoping to lift her spirits. As the girl smiled, something magical happened. Her appearance began to change. Her ragged clothes turned into a beautiful gown, and her face became radiant with light. The girl was none other than Princess Alara, hidden by the forest's magic. "You have passed the trial of kindness," she said softly. "It was your compassion that broke the spell and revealed my true self. The enchanted forest tested your heart, and you have proven yourself worthy." The return of the princess. With the crystal's light guiding them, Rowan and Princess Alara made their way out of the enchanted forest. The trees seemed to bow as they passed, and the forest's magic no longer felt threatening but welcoming. When they emerged from the forest, the people of the kingdom were overjoyed to see the lost princess return. News of her return spread quickly, and soon the entire kingdom was celebrating. King Aldric was overwhelmed with happiness when he saw his daughter again. He embraced her and thanked Rowan for his bravery and kindness. The kingdom of Eldoria was filled with joy once more, and the dark days were forgotten. Rowan was hailed as a hero, but he remained humble, knowing that it was his heart, not his strength, that had guided him through the trials. And so, the kingdom thrived, with the lost princess returned, and the enchanted forest at peace. Rowan continued to serve the kingdom, always remembering the lessons he had learned on his journey. The end.